off by. It's in the family tree.
It's no, I was going to make a joke, but anyhow.
So technically, we can yell Scotland forever.
You should, yeah. I was going to do like you guys should like go back to Scotland and take it over. Like I'm the king of Scotland now.
Yeah, we would do that if plane tickets weren't so goddamn expensive.
Right?
And if visas weren't a thing, we would totally do that.
Hey guys.
Where you guys? Where you guys?
Doing?
Where are you guys located again in Africa?
It's
We're
Namibia,
in-
right?
No,
Yeah, we're in Namibia.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
it's southwest of Africa.
So you guys, like my geography is pretty bad. So if I offend you, you are allowed to offend Brazil and say that you Brazilians should speak Spanish. Okay.
Normal. Yeah.
No. At least we're educated. We know Brazilians speak the Portugal language.
No,
They
I
speak
am
Chinese.
I am the one who is not educated. I was going to ask if like is it closer to Madagascar or is it the other side?
It's the other side.
other
The
side.
other side.
So
okay.
it's actually closer to Brazil
It's closer
Yeah.
to Brazil. Okay.
than it is to Europe.
If you draw a line, you can basically go straight to from Uruguay, Brazil. You can go straight to.
Yeah, if you're probably like an Olympic swimmer athlete, maybe you can swim in a straight line.
Probably get to Recife or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to boats? People used to have boats to travel across continents. Like the Vikings discovered North America apparently quite before everybody else, with boats.
Easier, yeah. A little.
And using the stars actually.
Yes, with and sunstones, which is something people haven't quite figured out how yet. But
yeah,
I'm looking into that.
Cool.
ADHD curiosity thing.
As a true Viking, a boat is too easy, man. Swimming is more hardcore.
Higher chances of surviving.
Especially when you had to fight with sharks, right?
Yeah, it's that old thing. The fun part of a raid is knowing how many people are going, but never knowing how many people are coming back. So the swimming actually increases the it's like God tier level for the game. It's like,
Yep.
That's why it floats. It's a survival technique.
Adrenaline.
I hope this is being recorded.
It is.
This is now logged.
And it's the first thing that people will watch.
Yeah. It entertainment, baby.
Do we have? Am I supposed to set the agenda of this meeting, or like?
I think, yeah. I guess I'm
all
here
yours,
just
Scott.
to hear you guys talk.
So we are coming to the end of drops in the next 5 or 6 days. I mean, we still will have textures and stuff to do, but I think we'll do a first pass on those probably next week and in the coming weeks. And then when we get them into shots and stuff, that will kind of define where we go from there. But I think whatever we do for first pass, we can kind of maybe just leave it. And I'll see what I see until like when I get the things. But like so far, the work I've been seeing is great, and I think first pass should be pretty good. So yeah, like with the rest of it you got to do, I would just get the UVs done and get your namings and stuff done. I did give Max and I think Rob a couple of notes. Keep getting Rob and Ricardo stuff for some reason, just because they're always. Yeah, Rob, I gave a couple notes on the door for just changing stuff for like versus video games versus what we're doing in sub D, and same thing with Max with the window. Vicky's working on the elevator. Looks like everything is kind of coming into completion for that stuff. So I think middle of next week or end of next week, we should be able to get started on environments. And we kind of just had a conversation just now about like kind of techniques and what we'll be expecting there. And I think next week's meeting, I'll probably try to come with a bunch of videos and other things to kind of just maybe go over a lot of those techniques and what we kind of want to do. And we're collecting kit bash stuff that we will be using for that, and getting sign off from Delcio and others on board of like what we think we can use there. Just because it's on my head to talk about some of that stuff. Like we're kind of going to be for environments, we're going to be like basically kind of doing a silhouette first, and maybe like possibly putting a little bit of lighting in those scenes just to kind of get to the main basic shapes of what things are. So like, you know, like character models and stuff working from big to small. And first just getting like the big elements in and kind of moving things around to get them looking nice and like quick lighting. And we could maybe even me, Delcio, or Chris or whatever we could take your scenes and maybe put in what we think where our light sources might be, so that can help let you know where shadow's going to be and like what things can do there to like kind of like bring those further. Characters, I know we started out a little bit. We're working on Lavina, and I think a few of the others are starting to get into production. Yeah, that's all I'm saying right now. We got something. Yeah. I don't know. Any questions? Any concerns? Any other things? Feel
No.
free to ask.
I just want to acknowledge how such a good work you guys are doing. I'm really impressed how fast things are going. How, you know, we are putting a little bit of pressure, but it's just because we kind of need to know where we are, and you know, I know that life happens. I know that, you know, things happen, and we need to get some of those things into the scenes, like for the animators pretty soon and stuff like that. So we need to get those things rolling, and then when we start in a couple weeks, start working on the environment pieces, we should really look into there are parts of the environment. For example, in the alley, we have some how you say those trash how do you say
Trash
the
bins.
bin? Not the bin, but the really big. Is that how you call it? Trash bin?
Dumpster.
The dumpster, yes.
Yeah.
We have some dumpsters. We have in the lab, we have the vial of Zeus, the big vial of Zeus. We're gonna have some robotic arms and stuff like that. We're gonna have some stuff that we should start you know, modeling, and then also blocking the space of the environments. That's the most stuff, like getting what we got so far, and then for the layout, and just expand it. It's like some places, for example, the lab, I want to raise the ceiling so it feels more grand and stuff like that. So yeah, we also have like, if anybody like I love what Dan is doing. He got the panel and he's went crazy with it and just modeled the entire place. And if there is anybody who wants to, who feels like yeah, I want to just tackle like we have a couple one-off shots that if you're looking for just like, yeah, I just want to be kind of like a generalist and just take over everything, just let me know. Because I have a couple of scenes that there's an elevator shaft, like when we see from the inside of the elevator, and there is also like some of the scenes from the beginning of the movie, so they are like completely one-offs. But yeah, good job, guys. And I think Ricardo, you're gonna have to move on to pipeline, right?
Come again?
You're gonna have to move on to like other stuff from the show, right?
No, I can help with both. I think I'm gonna help Josh with making videos for the pipeline and notes. I also suggested that we might have a little meeting with the people that are regular on the pipeline to offload some of the Aeon things, but I can still support the environment. I hope.
Okay. Sounds good. I don't wanna overwork anybody, so okay. Because
Well,
people keep saying like, I can take it, and they're like, please, please, it's too much.
yeah, like on the front and on the back, like holy shit. No, I'm all right.
I'm sharing a. So I'm not a Blender guy. I think Blender's great. I'm not, but like, there's a lot of things that like this guy does that we used to do in Maya and Softimage and all these different programs back in the day. But like he uses a lot of techniques that I've used in environments in the past where you're doing things kind of quick and dirty. I'm just sharing this. You guys can go through these at your own pace if you want to, but like I would suggest to maybe look through if you are helping on environments and just kind of getting an idea of like he does a lot of. I mean, let's share one just real quick. I know I was going to do this next week, but we're here, so why not?
What is Ian Euban?
But like he's doing a lot of things where he's just like he's going to be making a board, like these pieces of paper to scatter around an environment.
We are seeing your.
Oh, my bad. I hate how they have so many different things that.
I know exactly what you're saying. It's like I wish it was be like just remember the last thing I did.
Can you see it? Yeah. So like,
yeah,
he just basically took those pieces of paper, used an image he found from the internet, and then used it to make like a kit bashing thing to spread papers around. Like a lot of this stuff for especially background things and environments is really, really great to like just use for that kind of thing, or making like he's doing this again, like age stickers to put all over this. He's got so many of these things for making quick, like really beautiful environments, honestly. Like this is a scene where he's just making these basic shapes, getting the lighting look good. And then he's using like this building to basically define where those details are, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is how like I did things for until they started making us taking every single building and making it with it.
And that's something that we were, because like environment's my bread and butter. Like it's what the one thing, there's two things actually that Dan made that made me very happy. One is to see things through the camera. I think if you get the camera, that's why I'm pushing layout so hard right now, is because when you see in context, you can figure it out what is important, and then we can separate. Like Scott just said that, but it's absolutely true. Is like what is in the foreground, what is midground, and what is in background, right? If like things are gonna be out of focus, if things are gonna be in the dark, right? We should put our effort in things that we actually gonna see, and kind of like just do the lazy job on whatever is like not seen, right? So instead of trying to model everything, for example, Dan also projected the image that the concept art was doing, and he just projected to the camera, and that is a great idea because you get a lot for free by just doing that. How dare you run away? You have a good day.
Yeah, but like I think I don't really have much else other than that. I think you guys are doing good. I think we just need to finish up those things. I think we are putting a little pressure on this week, but I think all of us kind of have ADHD a little bit. I think ADHD people like to have pressure. Otherwise, they sit around and procrastinate. So like, for me, knowing I have a deadline is I need to get this done. So like and it makes me do a better job, honestly.
It also gives us a little bit of the feeling of actual production. So
Yes.
And actually, like Philippe is actually being much nicer than I am used to. Like people just come to me and like, so is done yet? It's like, are you finished? Like, why is taking so long? You know, that's the reality of the job. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in my normal day job, it's like, why was it not done yesterday? So we're being very, very open. I mean, all of us are volunteers on this, so like, but we do want to like kind of give you guys an idea if you haven't been part of a production, what it's like to be in a production. So
yeah, and that includes being with the whip.
yeah, I get to be the bad guy.
I never seen a Viking smoking a pipe.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so I'm actually working today, but it's a national holiday, so I'm kind of in zero mode. Sorry.
That was very, very interesting.
Yes. It's Corpus Christi in Brazil.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, and by the way, you were talking about whips. I actually have a flogger in the room next door. So if somebody needs it, just let me know. I'll ship it to you. It's fine. It's a horse flogger. Okay, don't.
I expect you to come through in full Viking gear.
The more you explain, the worse it's gonna get.
I know. Oh my god.
I don't really have anything else to say after that. So meeting.
No, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Keep the good work. Make sure that you guys are talking to each other as well. Like sending message, maybe like looking at what other people are working on and what other people are doing. You always can learn a little bit. If you get any questions, anything, it's just like I really also want to make sure that you guys are enjoying the experience, that you're just not like, that that you guys are learning, that if you guys wanted to try something that you haven't tried before, also learn like the lazy, we are old dudes. We've been doing this for a while, yeah, I've been in the trenches for a long time. If you guys have questions like, do you know how to make this a little easier? I'm like, yeah.
I come from when we didn't do turntables for anything but characters. Now in film, it's like every single thing gets a turntable and is scrutinized from the very, and that's why production is bloated and why companies are going out of business. It's because we spend too much time on things that don't matter.
Yeah. If since we have a little bit of time, I will share some knowledge, ILM knowledge. Actually, let me try to find that movie. Like, talk a little bit more, Scott, while I'm trying to find that movie.
I'm like gonna burn myself to the ground for the whole. I have an article on my ArtStation to read about what I think production should be like again. Yeah, but no, you guys are doing awesome. Anybody have a question on anything? No? Yeah, Max, if you guys want to take a look, I mean, you guys are all doing really awesome stuff on Max's window. Like nothing was really wrong with it. It's just like giving a little bit more resolution for stuff like this so that you don't have texture stretching and other things. I know like sometimes that can be a bit much, but it's just good practice to have things that are like that way. And then just resolving geometry that you can. Like, is it okay if I show some of that stuff from that page,
Yes, you
Max?
can. Yes, it's okay for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to not. I mean, you guys are awesome. You're doing awesome. Everybody's awesome. Just these things, like between video games and wherever we've learned our stuff. This is just I'm just trying to impart what I know. So, let me share again. So, like this overall, I can't. Why does it always shut my screen smaller? Yeah. So, like the blue parts on this, I haven't touched yet, but like over here is kind of what I've done. I've just taken what he had. I wish I had it open, but like this initially, there was like this just coming across here and coming across here, and then you had this going here. So instead of having this go all the way that way and this go all the way this way, you just resolve it here, and then basically you're keeping like this becomes your pinch point, and how the topology should flow. Similar stuff like on the like the door, like before. I mean, this was great. The detail looked awesome, but it's just taking like, so initially, I guess I didn't show, but like initially his geometry was all kind of one. I thought I posted it here, but I didn't. Was all kind of like the bevel was all contained within here. So there was a lot of geometry in this corner. So all I did was I took that geometry out and then I had it run across, and then made the panel part that pops up part of it as well. And like it just gives a cleaner, more consistent geometry when and it allows you to do a little bit lower because you're not focusing everything in one space. And then like technically don't really have to make this quadded, but like I like to make these quadded on the tops. It's like things like this, like this is all running, right? But you could basically collapse these two edges, and then it does that, right? And then after that, it becomes this. So you're getting rid of those lines that went out again, right? And leaving the collapses further and like this line here, and then collapse an entire two lines again. And then like this is how it was initially. Then basically the back was just a flat piece that had like it was a N-gon, and I just deleted that and then extruded it in so that we had an edge to catch light when it's against the door. And then instead of this being like this, like I just had it so that like I deleted a line here, and then we have a one here, and then it all holds this. And then same thing like right here. Like you could do collapse, 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 and then all these lines you can get rid of. So you can, yeah, this is kind of showing the process. And then this is the final. And then just having, even geometry. Like this is what I did, and then before it was like a little bit more. Go ahead, Carter.
Yeah, I just thought about something I might finally be able to get an answer on. I always learned with modeling and topology, especially like you're explaining now, you're redirecting the edge flow to support the parts that need to be supporting, and you're deleting the spare parts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's also a thing about even distribution.
Yes.
But something I always struggle with, or like in terms of like I did not understand, is, for example, especially with curvy surfaces, if you start playing with it, it will generate pinching really quickly, and in order to combat that, you will have to up the resolution and go higher.
Yeah.
and it's always based on the distance you're viewing the object, of course. But especially on hero assets, that always meant, like, for example, making in hero assets really close. They can become really dense. For example, the Creator movie, I think one of those robots was 50 million polys, and I always wondered, okay, then you bring it into the infra rendering, but those become super heavy, and I always wondered, like, how do you deal with that? Like, because sometimes because you're trying to make everything and keep everything clean, you're also making models really heavy because they are coming up in poly count.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all based on kind of where you're going to see it, right? Like if it's a distance thing, sure, it doesn't have to. Like some of that stuff would need to be like smooth on screen. So like but like all these props for this show like are going to be pretty close to camera, so they're all being treated as hero assets. So like,
yeah,
in a normal pipeline at the beginning, we would be deciding like what resolution. Like when I go through as a supervisor, I go through and say, all right, these are all foreground elements, which make them hero. These are all middle ground elements, which make them middle ground elements. So these are how they will be modeled. And then these are all background elements. Like, so you'll do that for props. You'll do that for characters. You do that for environments. They all kind of get that treatment. So it's just kind of based on like, will this thing be seen? Like, where will this thing be seen from camera? And how do I need to treat it based on that? So I don't know if that answered that, but like, that's kind of like where, like how I would define it. Like if your thing that's round is going to be seen from, like 20 feet away, then making sure that, because like what might happen there too is like in the texturing, that little tiny bump might like not be seen, right? But if you're going to be seen at like at like hands distance from your face,
yeah,
that making sure that resolves correctly is
okay. Yeah. So that's pretty much. Yeah, that's my question. It's further away assets you will accept more pinching than on closer, basically.
Yeah, I mean it's always good to not have it, but like anything that's round, you want to like make sure that you're not like you kind of just go based on what you need for that thing to not resolve that way.
Okay.
And like for some of those parts too, you can, like if it's round in one area, you can find a way to kill the geometry within flat surfaces. Like a lot of, I don't like doing it, but like there are a lot of people in video games that like will like resolve to n-gons on flat surfaces. But like for all my things, will resolve to just solving the geometry in those flat surfaces. So like you will do your rounded area and then off that rounded area into a flat area, then I will find a way to make it so that that geometry doesn't go out and flood the rest of the entire character or piece that I'm working on. That makes sense. Like I have a round piece and I know that round piece needs more high fidelity, then like I'll give it more high fidelity, but then like the things that are going off of it, I'll try to like find ways to deaden them before going through the entire surface again.
Okay, thank you.
And you can, and if you want examples, literally go to any of my advisor things and you'll see I do it all over the place. Like where I'm like, I don't want this geometry to flood the rest of my thing, so I'm going to solve them right here. I think I might even have, let's see if I have a wireframe in one of them handy. Yeah, I mean, just open any of them if you want, like all over three of them. But yeah, any other questions or anything?
No questions.
Delcio, you had some stuff you were looking for?
I think, are we running out of time? I think
Yeah.
we have the meeting. Do we?
No, actually, we still have kind of like half an hour.
Oh, okay.
So-
So let me show you something really quick. One sec. Like, it's hard to see with this quality of video, but it gives the point. Is that on movies, this is War of the World, and this is the scene where the tripod. Are you guys seeing my screen or no?
Yeah.
Yes. Wait, no. Yes, yes.
This is the scene where Tom Cruise, like the tripod is coming out of the. So they're all watching the tripod coming out of the street, right? This is a movie where Dennis Muren was the visual effects supervisor. I don't know if you guys know Dennis Muren. He's a legend. And then a lot of the stuff that they film on stage, that's a Steven Spielberg movie. They filmed a lot of the stuff practically. So, and you need to understand this movie is like from 2005. So they are throwing, like when they're breaking the car, they're actually throwing a heavy weight down into the car, right? And then augmenting stuff and putting stuff on it. So this car that is close to Tom Cruise is going to break, and there is actually a heavy weight, like just above the camera, that is going to be dropped into this car. And then the idea of the shot is that we should understand there is Tom Cruise, there is a car, and there is like the tripod is coming out of the back of the thing. And then when they drop the weight, you don't see the weight, but when they drop the weight, if like it's hard for me to pause it here because I can't go frame by frame, but you clearly see the weight coming down and hitting the car, and you see it's hard to see from, but you see like the pieces coming out of the thing. And a regular visual effects supervisor in any other facility would be like, oh, we need to paint that out, we need to change this, we need to, like, we don't need to do that. The point of the shot is Tom Cruise and knowing that something broke behind him. Nobody needs to pause the shot and see this. So I'm just giving you guys like there is like clear here the things is still there, right? But nobody needs to know that. No, and this is exactly what I'm gonna do on the show. Like, we need to see things through context. Like, if things are in the dark, if things are not important for the shot, let's not care about it. Okay. Another thing, we are talking about William Wallace. So the scene from what's the name of that movie from William Wallace? The Freedom War.
Braveheart.
Braveheart. Braveheart, I think is the first fighting scene. War. It's the war scene. When he's running, and I'm gonna destroy this movie now for you guys, because when he's running right now, like this is the scene, right? Like they're about to go fight, and you're gonna realize that William Wallace is holding, now he's holding a machete, and he's like, hey, everybody gets happy, right? Like, let's fight. And like kind of like how Felipe is before he start like doing his duels and stuff. He have a machete in his hand. When he start running, you're gonna notice that his weapon is gonna be changing constantly. Let me just jump a little bit, because there's the arrows. They hide from the arrows. They're gonna show their butts. Yeah, right. Show their butts. Some people are gonna die because they forgot to put the. So he clearly has like kind of like a machete or a hammer or something like that on his hand. Then when the cavalry is gonna go, they're gonna deflect the cavalry. Like maybe it's like it's actually to hold. They start fighting. Is when they charge. There you go. He has a machete in his hand. Now he has nothing in his hand. Now he's taking off his sword, and running with his sword. Now he has nothing again. Now he has his sword. And then later he's going to have the machete again. Honestly speaking, if you don't pay attention to this is details, right? This is movie magic. It doesn't matter. Okay? That's the point. We need to stop being... There is a culture nowadays of like pixel fucking everything. And the idea of the movie is seeing... Sorry. Pixel fudging everything. Is that better? Okay. Pixel fudging
Well,
everything.
Is it really a swear word if it's a legit industry term?
I know. My daughter complained it, so I'll respect her.
No, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you guys haven't heard me say F after every word, because that's how I usually do.
The problem is the problem is like every time I say like a curse at home, they charge me. I need to pay. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, the idea is not to be so focused on like little details and stuff like that. Like, and this is the thing. Like, I don't know if you guys know who John No is, right? So meticulous. Yes.
One of the creators of Photoshop.
Yeah. So John No is another legend, and I remember he was supervising Rogue One, and he was out on the set, and then they put a younger guy, which is not gonna say his name because like that can bite me back in the butt, but there's like a younger supervisor who is just trying to show as much as he could and like prove himself and stuff like that. And we are in dailies for like half an hour, having him commenting on like little clouds in the background, like, oh, you should remove those clouds and, you know, move those clouds here and stuff like that. And we're like taking the notes. And then here comes John No in the dark with his little like suitcase. He sit down and like, hey, and everybody like, hey, John, are you here? Blah, blah, blah. He sit down like, what we're watching, like, oh yeah, this shot. And then like, he's like, immediately, can you zoom out? And it's like, and then we zoom out. And then he's like, why we're not playing? And then we start playing. And then he's like, can I see the first shot and the shot before and the shot after? So he sees in context. And then we play the one before and after. And he's like, this is great. Move on. Like, oh, but the cloud, like the point of the shot is looking at the artist, like the actor. She's acting and they're paying us to like improve the acting. We are not supposed to be looking at that cloud, and nobody's gonna pause the movie and be scrutinizing that, you know. So the caveat is, if you're working on a Marvel trailer, then you need to scrutinize every fudging frame. Okay, you're welcome.
That's perfect.
My favorite thing that I like to say, like I have a one word like rebuttal for pixel fudging, right? And that word is motion blur.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have all become victims to motion blur if you have ever worked in this industry.
Yeah, and like, and as a studio thing too, it's like one of my things as a supervisor has always been like, I'm trying to get the cost down on how we get to the end of all these things as a modeling supervisor. And like being in meetings, my main thing that I would always say is like, are we doing this for us or are we doing it for the film? Like, because a lot of times I think what we get wrapped up in as artists in the industry is impressing each other with the things that we're doing at work, when the overall thing that we're trying to do as a team is make the best shots possible. And sometimes pixel fudging a certain area does not like really matter when the full context of the shot is the, and what everything is. I'm not going to say the movie, but for like 4 months I modeled a cliff for all the crazy details. Every day we did a turntable of it. Like I did different textures, and we scrutinized it every single day. The final shot is covered with bushes, and it is entirely motion blurred. We could have just used an entire card for the entire sequence, and we could have spent all of those hours doing better things to make other CG elements in those shots better. Yeah, I don't know. This going forward, I want to point that with you guys so that when you become leaders, you can decide what's benefiting everyone, especially yourself as well. So.
And I guess when I was starting on this industry, that I was being paid by pizza and beer, I would spend a lot of time on things that were like maybe for my portfolio, just to show people like in the beginning, like, hey, look at my nice, beautiful topology and look at this and that. Nowadays I have kids and I need to, like, believe it or not, I still need to clean up the house, wash dishes and stuff like that, right? Like, I don't have time for that. So we gotta be lazy. Being lazy is actually a good thing. You actually find solutions for things that are like, and again, my point is, I guess the summarizing everything I just said, and I guess we're trying to say is like, all that matters are the pixels on the screen. If they are looking good as pixels, I do not care how we got there, you know? With that said, like, I think on this show, Lavina, probably because she is such an important asset that she's going to be in the entire movie, we're going to be a little bit more particular with things. And again, I think a lot of the stuff that we are talking and Scott is trying to be like anal about it and stuff like that, is just to like avoid us going through things that later in the pipeline we see it. But regardless, you know, like, it's just to avoid problems that might show up later. But as you guys gonna see, like, when we get to like environment, I'm gonna be way more like forgiving for stuff. And again, if you guys like, you guys are gonna be like surprised how many times, like, you guys, like, people usually think that ILM, we have like infinite resources. Like, oh, those guys ran the frames for 48 hours. Dude, if your frame is taking more than 2 hours, someone is gonna like, hey, what the hell? Why your frame taking more than 2 hours? Why that little thing is taking like 4 or 5 hours on the phone? It's not. People have this impression that is like, oh, it's like much. It's not. It's like, if you send me I opened one time a Millennium Falcon that are like almost like 90 UDIMs. I'm like, no, I'm not dealing with this. Like, it doesn't, like, you see in the Millennium Falcon like this big. I'm not gonna, no, rebake this shit, this thing. I pass on that one. She didn't hear. But yeah. Okay, should we cut this one a little short and get 15 minutes back for everybody, so you actually can feed your bird, work on your thing, you know, clean your weapons. You know, no, you don't need to clean your weapons.
Already
Maybe
this
raid
right.
a village.
No,
Not the raid.
only in the summer. Only in the summer. We're still building boats. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys have any more questions or anything, hit up the assets forum, or hit up your particular asset pages. And yeah, and if there's a question that comes up enough, I might try to like do little meetings here and there just to kind of go over techniques and stuff, to like go over them together, or maybe even just do a coffee break thing where I can like, you can tune in if you want to, and I can show you how I would solve something. Yeah, this was a lot. Enjoy, have fun, and see you guys next week.
Peace.
See you guys. Tomorrow. Bye bye.
See ya.
Bye bye.